Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. My name is Artem, and here is the news. 898 days less the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Ukraine won 2 more medals at the Paris Olympics. Ukrainian wrestler Irina Koledenko lost to Japanese Sakura Motoki in the women's wrestling final. Thus, she won the silver. Irina opened by earning a point for her opponent's passivity, but at the end of the first period she missed an attack that earned the Japanese 4 points. After the break, the Ukrainian desperately tried to turn the tide of the match, but Motoki was able to make several successful rolls in a row. The final score of the fight is 1-12. The day before, Ukrainian rowers Lyudmila Luzan and Anastasia Rybachok won a silver medal in the 500-meter canoe double. The Chinese won the gold confidently, setting an Olympic record. It should be noted that Chinese athletes are the gold medalists of 2020 Olympics in Tokyo in this discipline. Russia continues its missile strikes against Ukraine. Overnight, remnants of a Russian missile fell on a private residential building in Brovary district of Kyiv region, reports Army Inform. A 35-year-old man and his 4-year-old son were killed as a result. 3 people were seriously injured, including a 13-year-old child. Also yesterday, rescuers finished to clear the debris in Konstantinivka, Donetsk Oblast, reports Radio Liberty. On the afternoon of 9th of August, Russia launched a missile strike on a shopping center there. The attack specifically impacted the Eco Market supermarket and the post office branch. Final figures indicate that 14 people have been killed and 44 injured in the attack. Police forensic experts identified 5 of the 8 unidentified bodies, 3 women and 2 children, girls aged 12 and 10. 3 more bodies remain to be identified. We would really appreciate if you could recommend us to your friends and family, as well as share information on social media. This way more people would learn about the podcast and truth about Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The military operation in the Russia's Kursk Oblast continues. Ukraine has not officially confirmed that it's Ukrainian forces who are fighting there, but in his yesterday's evening video address, President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky said that Commander-in-Chief Alexander Syrsky reported several times on the frontline situation and on Ukraine's actions to quote-unquote push the war out into the aggressor's territory. The day before, the president thanked Ukrainian warriors and units who are replenishing the exchange fund by taking the occupiers as captives and thus helping to free Ukrainians from Russian captivity. Quote, "This is extremely important and has been particularly effective over the past 3 days," unquote, said Zelensky. The Russian authorities announced a counter-terrorism operation in Belgorod, Bryansk and Kursk oblasts on 9th of August, reports Ukrainska Pravda. The counter-terrorism operation regime allows Russian authorities to take a number of measures, including suspending or restricting communication services, monitoring telecommunication channels, confiscating vehicles, and entering private property. The Kremlin notably did not elect to declare a formal state of war against Ukraine or martial law, more serious responses that would marshal Greater Russia state resources through wider and more domestically disruptive mobilization. According to the US Institute for the Study of War, the Kremlin likely decided to declare a counter-terrorism operation to downplay the scale of the Ukrainian incursion into Kursk Oblast. They want to prevent domestic panic or backslash. At the same time, the US media The Hill points out that Ukraine manages to conduct a stunning counteroffensive that comes after Kyiv has been largely on the defensive for the past year and a half. The publication raises a question of what Ukraine will do with the territory it holds in Russia, and whether this is a distraction from defense efforts on the front line. Tomasz Blusevich, a research fellow at the Hoover Institution at Stanford University, believes that Ukraine will most likely withdraw from Kursk, but only after forcing Russia to move several brigades that would use positions on the front line. He called Ukraine's success a huge prestige blow to Putin. Alona Kutsko, vice president for policy and programming at Globsec think tank, says that while it is unclear how the offensive will play out, Ukraine has successfully changed the narrative of the war by breaking into Russia. Before Kursk, there was a feeling that the war has become rather predictable, and on many sides the war was already perceived as frozen. Thank you for listening to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast. We're a commercial initiative of just 2 people and we need your help to grow. Share information about the podcast, rate us in the app, subscribe to our Patreon. With your support, we are getting better. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.